All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome to the Record Machine Hip Hop Hour. On today's show, we're going to hear more amazing tracks from local artists, and my special guest in the studio with me today is Mr. James P.
Hello.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Living life, nose to the grindstone, all those other cliches you throw out during introductions.
Yeah, dude. So I met you last year. I think it was last year through Dimension Magazine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Working with Chris at Dimension. You're a major contributor. You cover all types of music and all types of non-music topics around the city. Very, very good journalistic idea and mindset that you have.
Thank you.
And I quickly learned that you're not only in touch, really in touch with the local hip hop beat scene, but you're also in touch with the local jazz scene. And you have a very inquisitive and unique perspective on the world. So I'm just really excited that you're here, and thanks for coming and hanging out with me today, man.
Oh, thanks for inviting me, man. I had so much fun working with you when we were doing stuff for Dementia. I was like, when you asked me, I was like, of course, yes. Why wouldn't I? Like, yeah, it was a lot of fun covering all that stuff, and I was really lucky that I had an editor there who just kind of like let me flex my muscles and like fail publicly often, like, because I feel like failing publicly is like a really big part of
growing.
Of learning your art is really giving people a target to point a finger at and be like, this is why you suck. So like, yeah, it was a great experience there.
Dude, also congrats on being picked up as a writer in residency for the Charlotte Street Foundation.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't even know how to like quantify that. Like, gosh, I don't even know how to put the words together about it yet, honestly.
How'd that process work, or how'd you hear about it?
So their writer in residence thing is pretty new. I was going to go up for the first year and that they were doing it, but I didn't really feel like I had the resume yet. Mm-hmm. You know, I didn't feel like I had a strong enough background yet to really, or I guess, yeah, strong enough background or even perspective. I knew there was something too raw about me then at the time. Like I had thankfully enough self-awareness. But yeah, I heard about it and a few years ago, and some people that I know got in there in the residency over those years, and you know they were. I'm a very fragile person emotionally, so like so they were like do it, you know, and so I put it in, and they said yes. So
tell me a little bit about what draws you to the local hip hop scene or just hip hop music in general.
You know, I was a real artsy weirdo kid. And what drew me to hip hop is words. I've always loved words. It's just something that I was able to grab a hold of, and it was really the first thing that like drew me into rap. Because it was always around, you know, like we're the hip hop generation. If you're in your 30s or 40s, like, you know, it's hip hop culture is so permeated into American culture. It's so diffused into it, like, you know, not knowing a Biggie song or a Tupac song or even a J Dilla beat when you hear it is almost it's almost unthinkable. Like it's just so a part of us now. And I think that just speaks to the power of the art form. There's no other art form in American music that is so suffused so quickly. But for me personally, it was when I heard "Passing Me By" the Pharcyde.
Okay. Oh God, I love the Pharcyde.
Because, like, you know, I heard it several years later because that came out in 1989 and I was 4 when it came out. But I remember hearing it in 6th grade. I was hanging out at my friend Joe's house, and his older brother was listening to music. And like I said, rap had been around. Like I liked Public Enemy and things like that when I was younger. But I heard that, and it was the first time I remember like just like the emotional impact of the art form in a way that I wasn't familiar with. Specifically, like Fat Lip's verse. Like Fat Lip's verse on "Passing Me By" is like I think that's one of the first like musical gut punches I can really remember, where it's just where it hits you in some place that's like really deep and universally understandable. And like after that, I was just kind of like covertly hooked. I remember hearing, you know, the first 2 volumes of Lyricist Lounge, and then it was like solidified. Yeah. After that, I was like, yep, this is what I'm into. This is what I like. And as far as the local hip hop scene, how I got involved in that was I met rappers. like like
The old school way.
yeah, people who were much better at rap than me were very nice and threw me into house party ciphers where I got clowned and treated like a general asshole. Oh, can I swear?
Yeah, you're good.
I can swear. Okay, cool. Treated like I looked like an asshole, and I learned how to write, how to put words together in the way that I do now because of rap music.
Really?
Yeah, it's because I started writing rap. Like I started writing raps, stories, like rap stories is what I really wanted to do. Like I loved Slick Rick and I loved the way Farside do things, and they were able to put together these really vivid narratives of just daily life, in varying degrees, whether it was about, breakup songs or, in Farside's case, getting pulled over by the police on their first record. Slick Rick, everything he's done. I mean, Children's Story, for the love of God, that song is amazing. That's really what I wanted to do at the time, and it's one of those things that it's like, I don't rap anymore, and I wouldn't anymore. I think 32 is a little old for a white guy to get back in the game. Honestly, when you've been gone, like it's like, oh cool, Dad's here. He's gonna drop some of that heat.
Well, what's interesting? KCUR had an article about hip hop growing up. And they were talking about now people that are our age who have kids, exposing them to the hip hop culture. And I thought that it was a very, very interesting piece. And there's actually something that goes on every third Sunday at Mo Brewery, 30 West 39th Street.
Yeah. Actually, that's such a cool event.
Soulful Sundays.
Yeah, Soulful Sundays. I see videos of it constantly on like DJ Ataxic's Facebook. Jock Max spinning. Like it's really cool that there's just because like Jock Max and DJ Ataxic, to me, those guys are like Kansas City legends.
Yeah.
Those two are like legit party starters, and it's really cool that there's just this afternoon venue to like take your kids to,
right?
And it's seeing the videos of like little kids dancing and stuff like that, and people making art. It's pretty amazing. It's as someone when I was like more directly active in the hip hop scene in the mid 2000s, it was unimaginable. The venues that were available. There's house party shows were primarily where you were doing stuff. I remember the push to get hip hop into Record Bar.
Oh.
That was a big push. That was because no one knew if anyone would show up to those shows. I mean, people don't really talk about it now, but I remember the push. I remember going to those shows and, people being like, we need to show up. Like, we need to show up because, you had to fight for venues. It's not like now where you can see, hip hop at the Riot Room like 4 nights a week.
Right,
it was a different landscape. And that was primarily because of people like Reach comes to mind. Who really, really pushed to expand venues and expand the audience of rap in Kansas City. So even if I was a pretty lackluster rapper, it was cool that I got to like at least do shows with people who were good and who were doing good things, and pushing the art form farther in a way that people don't really talk about.
Yeah,
we talk a lot about like artists setting a bar artistically, but people creating a landscape for an art to flourish is something that I got to see some of when I was still involved in the hip hop scene, and that was fantastic. That was a great thing to see.
Very cool. Well, you want to check out a song?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Who we got? We got Domineko with his track Combo Breaker. This was released back on March 8th of this year. It's off the album Continue with a question mark, so I should have said that. It sounded like a question. Produced by Rick Mon, recorded at Mob at Industry Sounds. And so Domineko, he's real tight with Secondhand King, and that's how I actually experienced him for the first time, was at a Secondhand King show.
Man, that guy, I like the leaps he takes.
Yeah.
This record is sort of Continue is sort of utilizing a lot of like sonic motifs and cues of like of old school video game culture.
Yes,
Continue
absolutely.
question mark.
Yeah.
And Nico does a really good job digging through that and converting the subject matter to his own whims. And also Rick Mon is just such a smart producer. like just the way that guy puts together sounds is so admirable. If you bring up his name to just about anybody who raps or produces, they're just all like, "Oh my gosh!" Like he's so good. He's really great at putting together like coherent sounds and catching your ear.
Very cool, man. Well, let's check it out. Here we go. This is Domineko with Combo Breaker.
It was just that he was all alone, always by himself. Never anyone to share the game. A man who lived in dreams. That's who he was.
Everything's a process, never see me out. Midwest, Loch Ness, head above water. Hate exposing my neck, they respect. I'm trying to handle, somebody hand me a check. I profess, I've been swinging my blade, what can I say? But you gon' pick me by its election day. I don't respond, you too curious, please tell me what your man on. You don't have the answers, just as bad as Sway, Scantron, tampons. Eventually y'all gon' be bloody. Is you fucking with the big homie, you gon' hop in this cutty. Adventure time with your buddy, only Jehovah can judge me. Let's plot out these endeavors and burn switchers like logs. They claim they run the town, but all I see is like jobs. And I'm Usain, trying to reframe from blacking out. Raise the bar, I'm maxing out, trying to bring the passion out. Cause the scene dying slowly. Everybody ain't your homie. You never was my friend, God. And you'll never be this high. Yeah, yeah. No matter what you smoking on, I hope you fucking choking on it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No matter what you smoking on, I hope you fucking choking on it. Yeah, asphyxiation at its finest. Locals claim the stars, but have never been in alignment. Swore the event was lit, who forgot to like to pilot? Y'all on a diet, please remain silent. Things I hate about the Midwest, your attitude and the climate.
All right, that was Domineko with Combo Breaker. You can find Domineko on Facebook, just / nappy-headed Neko, Neko. And like we were talking about earlier, what I really enjoy about this guy, you said like that song Continue. It's kind of like a game, right? His whole website is set up kind of like a game too. It's got the cars with the playing games.
Yeah, he's a really creative dude. I was on the Secondhand City podcast a couple times.
Yeah.
This year, and I had so much fun with this with both of them. They're really fun dudes, and Neko was pretty excited about all the cards in his website design. How he's getting that together.
So I want to get your thoughts on this. So why do you think hip hop isn't covered more by major outlets in the area? You know, the music is definitely covered and it's talked about a little bit, but I don't feel like it's talked about to the extent that it should be.
I think it's difficult for a lot of more mainstream journalists, especially people who have like a specialized education, things like that, like high education, to sort of even find out where it's happening sometimes. Like a lot of it's really informal, you know, like not a lot of people are sending out press releases about when they're doing shows and stuff like that. But beyond that, it's always a risky proposition.
And why do you say risky? Because I do hear that a lot.
Well, in their minds, it's a risky proposition to promote hip hop because, you know, just to put it frankly, there's just a lot of racial fear around it, you know, and I'm not saying that the people who aren't writing about it are being, you know, actively bigoted. That would be a mistake. But there is an aura of racialized fear around rap music that you just can't, if you're talking about it, you know, and you're talking about why it isn't covered and why this isn't being done, why that isn't done, like that's a part of it that you have to discuss. It might not be all of it. You know, there's, you could say, you know, like a lot of other types of shows aren't covered either, but, you know, they don't have this element. You know, there's not a lot of people talking about the metal scene, which there probably should be. It's actually kind of fun, but
it is. The metal scene is extremely fun. But I can rationalize that in my mind because when you think about metal, you think about extremely aggressive music with screamy vocals for the most part. And so I can see why people, you know, maybe that's not your cup of tea. But I feel like hip hop is so infused with so many other different genres and influence so many other different genres that it should be easy for someone to sit down and just, you know, immediately identify with a track.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but, you know, I think there's a lot of like, I mean, you could even say it's generational too. A lot of people working at major news outlets, at least in the editorial capacity, are from a different generation, and hip hop has a different meaning to them than it does to us.
Yeah.
Specifically, and also youth is a factor. You know, the scene's very young. There's just a lot. I think there's a lot of things in place that keep it from happening. Hip hop is primarily a youth art form. Young people are scary. It's primarily a black art form. Black people are scary. Like, that's the mindset. Not one I agree with, obviously, but
Right.
but that's the mindset, and it's you'll see that come apart more and more. I think things will be as people from our generation sort of take the reins
Yep.
in those media outlets. I mean, I heard Barrel Maker on the radio on KCUR, like
Yeah.
during an interview segment, and I was like, oh my, it blew my mind. You know, I can't remember any time in the past where hip hop artists, especially emerging one, like Barrel Maker, got like a prime time driving to work spot on NPR. You know, like,
Yeah, right.
like that's pretty different.
That's a
you
big
know?
accomplishment.
Yeah.
It is.
So I mean, those seams are being pulled apart, but it like I said, I think it's important to remember that hip hop still has a lot of like this word triggering aspects to older generations. They associate it with danger
Yeah.
rather than community, as we were talking about earlier.
Or even art.
Yeah, or even art. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what is it that there's that old Sam Kinison bit about that, you know, where he's like playing guitar up there. It's Sam Kinison, so who cares what he actually thinks? He was one of the least funny people that ever lived. But, you know, about that ain't music, you know, that type of stuff,
Yeah.
which I found offensive as a young person before I even really got into rap. but yeah, so I mean, to me, I think that's why, I mean, that's why people like Dementia exist, you know,
Right.
and other independent outlets like that.
Like Shuttlecock. our
Shuttlecock,
local
yeah,
music.
you know, man, that guy does a good job.
Yeah, Aaron does.
He
Aaron
does-
covers a lot
he's,
of good
I've,
stuff.
I've never met him, and I've read some Shuttlecock articles, and I see the way he interacts with people in a really honest way, and I think I think that's good too. But yeah, I mean, and also, you know, a question that we don't bring up, and one that I've always kind of wondered, and I don't have the answer to really, is do you actually want these outlets covering you? I mean, the exposure is good, but these bigger outlets.
So you're talking like Pitchfork, Rolling Stone, Spin.
Yeah, or I mean, even locally, like the Star,
Okay.
Inc., the Pitch. Do you want them to?
Why would you not want them to?
Well, this sounds kind of like cloistered, maybe a little claustrophobic, but as I was talking about, you know, it could change the dynamic of the art form a lot. I'm not saying that larger crowds are a bad thing. Like I said, I haven't really worked out why, but there's something there that just sort of mainstreaming hip hop in a way, especially something that's so organic and self fueling, like the Kansas City scene. I often wonder what sort of outside influences would do to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's fragile or it's going to go away or
Right.
break or anything. But like I said, it's just something that I've always kind of wondered. Like, as it grows, what will happen to that community aspect? Will it become fans and artists pretty much strictly? Like if you were going to a mid-level rock venue show or something like that? Or will there still be that communal aspect? You know, because you can go to places like Ruins Pub right now, and there's like real live hip hop happening there on First Fridays, and you know, there's breaking, there's graffiti, there's like some real Four Pillars shit going on, and I kind of wonder, like, would that aspect diminish? Because rap is almost a standalone in the pillar. Like rap can very easily be divorced from hip hop culture. It's the easiest one to do so. You know, graffiti is pretty difficult because it's unless you're getting commissions to do so, it's vandalism. So that's always going to be a subcultural and even countercultural niche. Breaking can very much be adopted into mainstream stuff, but
feel
not
like
quite as rap. You know, it's music, so it can be picked up just about anywhere. So I like I said, I wonder, as it grows, as more people cover it, would it survive in a way that maintains its own health?
I think that it will. I think that it just depends on the artist. Because when you see, let's say, a mid-tier indie rock artist, like if they really care about what they're doing and they're not just doing it for the paycheck, they're gonna go out and hang out with people after the fact. I mean, it does get to a point where if you get to a certain level of success, then you have to watch out for the crazies. But I feel like there's going to be the artists that attach on to this. I am a rap star, I'm a hip hop star, I'm better than everyone, but there's still going to be the people who really just care about the art form and about the people who are supporting them. And so I definitely do agree you're going to start seeing that division more. Now with breakdancing, you remember that show America's Best Dance Crew? I think it was like on MTV.
Yeah. Man, I love that show.
And like Jabberwockies, that made b-boy culture, spike for a particular point in time, but I don't feel like it killed really the b-boy industry. All it really did, it gave the Jabberwockies a Vegas show. That was awesome for them, and it just kind of made people more aware of this amazing art form that they might not have been aware of before.
I mean, you're right. But rap has like that independent identity.
Yeah.
To where like there is constant exposure to it. But I see what you're saying. Like it's I don't think it would be inherently damaging.
Right.
But it's just a question that I ask myself. As things grow beyond its community, how does it change?
Yeah.
So that's the only question I ask myself.
It's an interesting question.
Yeah. And I'm sure there are people with better answers than me, who maybe have a template of, maintaining that sort of, I guess, power base, because I don't have it. But it is something that as I watch it happen, as I watch things change, I sort of ask myself, is this the way it should go? Or is this the way that it's healthy for it to go?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's a good question.
It is, and it's going to take someone a lot smarter than my bum ass to figure it out.
And that's going to be Father Time who's going to figure that out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's who's going to figure that out for us. Okay, well, let's go ahead and check out another track. What do you got for us here?
We have Marcus Yates with Freeform. I think I might have actually covered this video at Domineko when I was still there.
The video's dope.
It's great. Marcus Yates is a really just an incredible entertainer. Beyond just being a solid rapper and having like a good ear for production, he's just a really incredible entertainer. Just seeing videos of him perform, things like that. He's got a really big persona on the mic, which is like half the battle.
Yeah.
There are countless rappers who, like persona driven. Kanye West is a persona driven.
Yeah. He's probably the best example to use.
Yeah. And like that's half the battle. Like if your audience can connect with you immediately, or they feel like they have a common ground with you, they're going to jump on board. And I feel like Marcus Yates just kind of like has that sort of intangible presence.
He's got the personality, right?
Yeah. And I also like that he's just kind of he's not afraid to be kind of a strange dude, to be sort of free in it. He doesn't seem constrained in any way that would make him sort of fit into a comfortable mold, which is always a pleasure to hear. Really. It's always, for me as a fan of the art form, it's always a pleasure to hear somebody who's not trying to be an archetype of the music, whether that's NWA throwback street rap or even like the opposite end, the sort of vague revolutionary hip hop, where it's you just throw around a lot of keywords to let people know that you're down. Like he just seems to be this he has this sort of personal wholeness on the microphone that just like allows him to be himself there, and that's always something you should pay attention to in my mind.
Absolutely. And this track is called Freeform. It was released on December 15th of 2015, and the music video dropped on December 29th. They also dropped the behind-the-scenes footage because the video's dope. It reminds me of like the original iTunes, iPod commercials with all the colors and the people dancing.
Yeah, it kind of has that feel to it, like lots of bright colors, lots of twists and turns to the motif. You know, it was cool to watch. And it's a cool song to listen to.
Absolutely is. And he actually self-produced this track. So here we go. This is Marcus Yates with his track Freeform.
This feels original. I wanna be a minimalist. I love my lady cinnamon, like on some black cinema shit. Exotic clothes, Balenciaga monochromes. 8 bottles, bottled water. Listen on your song. Freeform player, freeform coach. These forms made me rethink that reform approach. Oh, now hold on, brother. You know your dad and mother love you. So why did you decide to start rapping like another brother? Never so coke, center of the joke. Always had the wheel, driver power steer. World's in fear, yo. Failure ain't real, God. Failure ain't here, even though it's shouting in my ear. Built it from a simple Lego peso. I'ma pimpatize your money, do as I say so, ho. And I'll have no problems in letting you know I got ya. But I'ma meditate with Oprah and think this one over, partner. This feels original. I wanna be a minimalist, but pay me with the minimum and see how fast I'm flipping this bitch. The limit, I'ma beat it in me. Money, Mississippi, nigga, making people mad, cause I whistle at the cash. Joseph boys, I'ma scope your pain. I'ma paint your life, then take you out the frame. Oh God, religion made me weak. One day out the week, go to church or sleep. Dreaming while you preach. Free-form player, free-form coach. These forms made you rethink that reform approach. Oh, well, now hold on, brother. You're changing like a motherfucker. You know your dad and mama love you, and your sisters and your cousins. I'm in love, spoiled rotten motive, but these bitches ain't knowing that they golden. And I'll have no problems in letting you know I got ya, but I'ma let you know first before shit gets worse, partner.
Okay, that was Marcus Yates with his track Freeform. That is a single that was released back on December 15th of 2015. Now, he formerly went by the name Uber Geek.
Yeah, he went by Uber Geek for a long time, or for a while at least. And then I don't know his reasoning for going back to being just called his given name, but it works.
Yeah.
Man, that beat
is dope. That beat is so dope. It's got like the build up, breakdown form.
I really like beats that are sort of just like 3 or 4 simple elements that recombine in different ways to build to a climax, and that beat does that so perfectly. And it also is like, since he produced it, he very smartly tailored it to all of his strengths.
Yes.
To really get maximum performance out of it. And I think that's why it's such a standout. And it's why I'm still thinking about that song, almost a year later. It's a good song.
And speaking of, like, a little bit earlier when we were talking about, the influence of hip hop and the influence culture, I found an interesting statistic from a study that was done by Queen Mary University, the Imperial College of London, and online music service Last.fm. And what they said is that the explosion of hip hop and rap music in '91 had far more auditory influence on the popular songs that followed than the British invasion of 1964 or the pop surge of 1983, the other 2 years that saw a huge shift in musical styles. So what they did to run the study is that they analyzed 30-second snippets pulled from about 17,000 songs that represented about 86% of all the singles that charted on the Billboard Top 100 during the 50-year scope of study, back from the 60s up until 2010. And so that blew my mind,
Yeah, that explosion when, in 91 in particular, like that late 80s to early 90s, when every record label, big or small, was trying to, expand their stable of hip hop artists as much as they could. To where, when you think about it, people talk about that sort of golden era of rap.
Yeah.
It's not really a golden era so much as it was a gold rush.
Right.
It's like they're, MF Doom's group, KMD, like that is a really weird group. that wouldn't get picked up by a label in any other time frame except for that 4-year span. You know, De La Soul too, like Leaders of the New School, all of these things that we see is sort of like fundamental elements of like that New York sound from that time. Like if you were to put them up now or 10 years before that, you know, no one, you know, it wouldn't have happened. There was just such a critical mass at that time.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like that sort of, I guess, like golden era was, I almost feel like it was more happenstance, like just labels just being like, oh my God, we need a rapper.
Right.
We need a group of rappers. We need 20 rappers. We need 40 rappers.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, it's interesting too, because now you're starting to see the emergence of more groups, right? Like a set of solo rappers, and then a lot of the solo rappers coming together to form groups. I mean, the first thing obviously going to come to mind is like Run the Jewels.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, or just crews are getting exposure too.
Yeah.
And I think that has to do with TDE,
Okay.
really.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, like Black Hippie, like it's, you know, like it's like crews like that are coming to the forefront again because they're presenting themselves that way.
Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with just protection a lot of the ways. Like, you know, the music business is so sticky and conniving, and
It's very interesting.
and it's, you know,
Yeah.
and it's very winner take all. So, you know, those crews, whether those guys doing it back in the day, you know, like Leaders of the New School or Right Up knew they were doing it then, you know, it gives you a certain amount of protection.
I'll tell you one crew who knew what they were doing, Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
Those guys knew it from day one.
Yeah, you know, and like that model still has value.
Yeah.
Like I said, for protection. It would be really difficult for an artist like Ab-Soul to get an audience in a lot of ways. You know, he's a little drawn to conspiracy theories. He's got kind of an off-kilter voice. His rhyme style is a little complicated in a way. But, you know, he's got J-Rock, Schoolboy Q, Kendrick Lamar around him. It gives him a boost, and he's worth it. He's a great artist, you know, but it would be difficult for him to find that exposure and that fan base solo, in my opinion, to preface it, you know, but, and I think that's like the strength of presenting yourself as a crew and solo artists together. And I think that's why it's coming together. I mean, Killer Mike and LP saved each other's careers. They fully admit it. You know, they fully admit that they were in a rough spot before they like combined together to make, you know, Killer Mike's rap music album, and like they saved each other's careers because that unity gives you protection. You can cover each other's flaws. You can promote each other in ways that you know, it's really hard to do just by yourself.
You're absolutely right. And there are some crews locally. I mean, Indie Ground Crew, they do that. Strange Music, I think, is the perfect example of that.
Yeah, man. Indie Ground, they do really cool stuff. I think they're people who are definitely worth watching, and I kind of like their tilt towards the type of artists they want to pick up. You know, they tend to go for people who are more cathartically relatable than, you know, because like Strange Music definitely focuses on like they want technical skill.
Yeah.
Like their guys are like, everyone on Strange Music is like a rap technician. Like they are, you know, it's almost mathematics. It's almost arithmetic the way people on that label rap, which is cool. Like that's the type of stuff I really like that stuff. So like, you know, like from Tech himself, Cess Crew, like those, you know, like it's very much like, you know, like really, really heavy rhyme pattern stuff. Whereas like Indie Ground, like one of the things that I think is so different about them is they want to go for artists that you can put yourself in their shoes. You can feel their emotions with them, and that's really cool. Like someone like Dom Chronicles does that really well. Yeah, that's a really cool approach. Like I don't know if they're doing it on purpose, but like that's the theme I feel through like all of the artists they pick up is they want. It's almost like an avatar for the audience in some ways.
That's a real good point. You're absolutely right. Yeah, all the guys on that and part of that crew are very relatable.
Yeah, like you can put yourself in a lot of their shoes, and you can feel the same things they feel. Like I said, it might not be like that high tier technical rap like you would get from Strange Music, but they're talented musicians across the board, and they just have a different approach that I think is pretty valuable.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a cool, different thing that you just. Honestly, I wouldn't have anticipated.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have anticipated happening.
No, I think that what they're doing is extremely valuable, and they have the Indie Fest they put on each year. I think it's coming up here in August, and I think that's just another step in just trying to bring this style of music more to the mainstream and show people that it is definitely a respectable and amazing art form. So
yeah.
So with that, I'm gonna play another track. So this track. This one comes from us comes to us from S.T.R.A.P, Sound That Roars African Pride. The track is called Listen. It's featuring Samuel Davis, who is based out of Wichita, Kansas. The track is produced by JXJ, based out of Detroit, and co-produced by Big Kid over in London. And so what's really interesting to me about S.T.R.A.P is that he comes from Kampala, I believe. It's from Uganda. It was the capital and the largest city in Uganda. He started writing rhymes at the age of 11, and then he transitioned into battle rapping as a teenager.
Battle rap is the universal art form, man.
Yeah.
It's how...
That's how you sharpen your knives, right?
That's how you sharpen your knives. And like almost everybody who starts rapping starts one of two ways. Either they've got like a pile of notebooks that they dive into, or they started it by clowning people in a schoolyard or at a lunch table, or getting clowned. Either one, back and forth. Like that's, and it does not surprise me that that's the way he started. Honestly, we were talking about that community base. Like that's where that community base starts.
Right.
That starts in the circle.
Yep.
Takes me back to all the times that I just got humiliated at a house party, sweet memories. No, I'm a fan of S.T.R.A.P. I really like the type of music he approaches, his approach to music, all the influences that he pulls in from different places. He had a song on his last record, Higher Level, that had this like really great like dance hall feel to it. I don't know, it was such a good party jam, and I think he has almost not the same as Marcus Yates, but he has an element of fun to him. A lot of his songs are about his personal drive, things like that, and in contrast to his background, his upbringing. But there's an element of fun to his music that it's hard to deny. And it's really cool that he's just kind of standing up for Wichita. Right. I'm glad that someone's there for Wichita. You know what I'm saying? Like that's cool. I want more rap from small places. I want more rap from places that people in the coastal cultural meccas don't care about, that they don't even know it exists. And I want someone speaking from those places truthfully. I think that's actually, to me, I feel like that's a step in this art form that'll be really cool to watch.
Absolutely.
Like hearing someone honestly describe places like St. Joe or like St. Joe, Missouri, or which is like there would be a lot of fertile ground in a place like that, or the outskirts of the important places, as cities shift and the urban core becomes suburbs, like I think we'll see a lot more of stuff like this, a lot more artists who are from places like Grandview and things like that, or just like I said, the small to moderate sized places. So I think it's I'm always excited when I hear someone from a place like that who speak from it truthfully and bring themselves in an honest way to the art,
and can tell a good story. Absolutely. Yeah. So here we go. This is S.T.R.A.P with his track "Listen" featuring Samuel Davis.
I'm the verbal magician, assessing all these cadavers in the midst of gathering beats to come and devour. Mission impossible to you. Boy, give me an hour. My pen is my power. And when I brainstorm, watch it shower. Let it sink in. Futuristic fruition, UG man on a mission. Capture the zeitgeist, nostalgic when you listen. Pay attention while I tell my vision. Turn the TV off. This is food for thought that you've been missing. Grab a book, educate yourself. Knowledge is fundamental. Wisdom is the richness of the soul. Ain't it coincidental? Hate to sound preachy on the song, but it's so elemental. Yin and yang, balance of life is instrumental. So I'm back on my bullshit, ignorant as I could be. Louis the 16 bars, copped out like guillotine. The lyrical bully, frontin' like the old something to me. Step on your stage and grab the mic like give it to me. OMG, the ODB just came back. Ghost to the past, embodied in the body. You're strapped to kill this tracks. Evidential, JJ had to call me out. Man, hold this instrumental and just listen.
don't make music to make music. I want you to feel the love. I want you to say that man great. I want you to put your hands up high and just vibe. I want you to feel alive. Hold up, I'm talking classical, magical, legendary. I swear it's hereditary. I was born God, y'all made me man. Had to change the plan, y'all made me land. Y'all made me walk across the water through the sand. Y'all made me Sam. Tried to give brothers the game, but they ain't wanna play. Tried to make sure you was tight, but you ain't want the lace. Tried to make sure brothers was fair, but you ain't want the stake. Even let them phone with the God, but they ain't want the grace. Now I can stand here on my soapbox, or I can tell you how my shit don't stink. Cause it's Georgia, your Armani sin is fresh on me. Or I can let y'all breathe. I'll go with option 3. Hey, strap, this instrumental got me feeling like I'm on a boat with wifey on the side of me. Grapes on the table, drinks in the air. She sipping wine, that Douce got me feeling fine. I won't get too graphic. Shit, I'm through rapping.
All right, that was S.T.R.A.P with his song Listen featuring Samuel David. You can check out S.T.R.A.P on Facebook, just /listen to the number 2 S.T.R.A.P. So go, if you dug that track, you're going to dig the rest of his stuff, and definitely encourage you to go and check that out. So, man, I want to talk to you now, James, here. You got a spoken word project that's going on right now that you're working on with, what does she go by now?
Dreamaless Sound Agency.
Sound Agency. Okay.
The stupendously talented Boomy.
Boomy.
Yeah, Road Dog Boomy.
Shouts out to Boomy.
She is a real pleasure to work with. Stupendously talented person. I am shamed in the studio every time we get together because we were talking about this a little bit off air. The best I have is a perspective, and she can do things with her hands. Like, you can play instruments and put beats together. And I'm like, well, this is what I was thinking about. It's so, but yeah, we're working on a new record. We're trying to expand it more than the last project I was in, Grid Made Mortal, which, I was really proud of that. I was really proud of the work that DJ Tortango, Grant S did on that. It was really fun, and he was able to create like a really strong vibe and a really beautiful soundscape. But I'm trying to push things a little bit harder on my end, dig a little bit deeper, and try and make something more musical happen on my end, which is changing the perspective of the writing a little bit. It's more about when you're writing lyrics, it's more about an implied feeling rather than a descriptor. Or inserting you into a place. It's like, did you ever watch old Shaw Brothers movies?
I did not.
Like
no.
One-Armed Swordsman,
okay,
and stuff like that. Like their movies were all about catharsis. Like you're supposed to feel good when the hero kills the villain, or like there's victory and stuff like that. Like that's the way I see songwriting. Songwriting is supposed to have that like cathartic attachment. You're supposed to. It's an emotional journey rather than like a psychological one or an intellectual one. At least when it's done right, in my opinion, like smart music isn't necessarily smart sounding music. It's music that impacts you in your chest. Yeah, like that's smart music. So that's what I'm trying to do, and I don't know if it will. Which is, you wanted me to read a poem.
Yeah, please do.
Before we demo the track, I chose one that is actually just a poem and not something from the record. Because it sounds weird when there's no music.
I'd give you a beat.
Yeah. Kick that beatbox. This poem is called Hangdog Myth. And I found one of my old Charles Bukowski books, and I was like, what a piece of shit, and I wrote a poem about it. Placing a palm to your sternum, pushing through your hard plates, shifting into the fat and caul to gently cradle your hangdog myth. And brush fingertips across the wrinkles, teasingly pinch the paper-thin valves. It jumps. Resist the urge to pop it. To bite in with fingernails and feel the pulps, flaky sugars and acids dribble down my wrist and dry to me. that's the whole damn poem.
Very cool. So what track are we going to hear is like the demo track that's coming off this album?
So this is a sneak peek snippet of a song called Coward King of the Plains. And it is my ode to Governor Sam Brownback. I wrote it directly after the break of the migrant crisis from out of Syria into Europe. And his, of course, extremely predictable response is, I don't want them here. Don't want no terrorists in Kansas. I was like, why the fuck would they go to Kansas anyway? What strategic target is in your neck of the woods? Like, what half of Kansas is like towns of 12 people. Like, what are you going to hit that's going to cause terror in the first place? And it made me so mad because it was so predictable. And he's just one of those conservatives that just immediately hops on to whatever the hot topic panic is for them, whether it's transgender bathrooms or migrants or, food stamps, whatever it is, whatever's in the news. Sam Brownback's one of those shallow pieces of shit who's just going to immediately find a podium to talk about it, to show just how in line he is with everyone else. It's one of the least admirable attributes a human can have, I think, is to, find a microphone anytime something newsworthy happens and be like, me too.
Yeah.
So that, and with his economic platform, which is devastating, I just found myself getting real mad at him. And the poem there's no solutions in this poem. There's no deeper meaning. This is it was all just me being mad and trying to say things that I felt would humiliate him. That's all it is just me in my own small, selfish way trying to make people laugh at this big, stupid coward. He's a terrible tool of a horrible right-wing agenda. So this track was just me very selfishly trying to feel better about that.
All right. And with an introduction like that, I need not say much more. This is a preview of a brand new song by Talking The song is called Coward King of the Plains. Let's go.
Boy, you all know, man. Well, hell, I guess this river comes out somewhere, don't it? That's where we're going. Somewhere.
5 of Pentacles, there's money problem.
Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job.
The coward king of the plains sits on a fainting couch throne of impact foam and bubble wrap, murmuring soft theocracy. Practicing a brave face in a hand mirror, his caution tape crown slides down his brow. The looming thread of dark-skinned children dragging shadows of darker circumstances approaches. He must be diligent. He checks his posture for the cameras. The coward king of the plains don't go outside no more. He sits behind his telescope wrapped in a blanket he got on vacation in braver days. Before his reality congealed into quavering cubes, he can no longer hear his own dog whistles. He peeks through his blinds, loading his pistols as the headlights pass his driveway. The coward king will live through this night. The coward king of the plains straps into his 5-point harness in his limo. He looks out tinted windows, gently patting the black steel roll cage. He forgot something in the grocery store.
All right, that was Coward King of the Plains, a preview for all you out there by Talking not AT, the @ symbol. And so when that project gets released, TBD right now on the release date, but definitely go, and I encourage everyone to go and check that out because you're just an amazing writer, and I'm really interested to hear what you and Madam New Sound Agency, I already forgot that name, can put together because she is awesome.
Yeah, she's great. And her secret identity remains a secret. She's a superhero in that regard.
There we go.
Boomy is actually a cabal of angry sound witches who bring forth eternal fire.
There it is.
For all of you sinners and cowards.
You should write her bio for her. That should be your tagline.
Yeah.
All right, man. We're going to wrap the show up. I really appreciate you taking the time to come in and hang out with us and talk with us, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here. It's always fun to see you, and it's always fun to talk rap.
Yeah, man.
And I'll leap at any chance to do that. Really, thanks for having me on. Thank you to the Record Machine for the space to do so.
Absolutely.
And I think we got one more track, right?
We do have one more track, and this comes to us from my friend, your friend, everyone's friend, the doo-wop king, secondhand king. The song is Tokyo.
Yeah, Tokyo.
But not just the album version of Tokyo.
Yeah, it's the live at Chapman Studios. And I got to see Secondhand King's Goodbye show for Chuck. And it was a really intense, intimate experience. And he's one of those people, dude, we were talking about like the Indie Ground crew, which I believe he is Indie Ground, actually, that that just sort of, they just know how to punch right in an emotional way. They know how to just immediately connect with an audience. And I think Secondhand King's live show is a big reason that people connect with them so deeply. And the song's a really good illustration to that. So.
It's a very good track, yeah. And every time he releases something new, like I was talking to him the other day, I was like, man, you are getting better and better. And it's all about growing and progression. And, you know, his singing from day one to where it is now has just, it's gotten so amazing. I have lots of respect for this dude. Very dope MC, very caring guy. So here it is. Thank you for listening to the Record Machine Hip Hop Hour. We're going to wrap it up here with Secondhand King with his song Tokyo, live from Chapman Studios.
What you need, partner? Fuck all that bullshit.
I felt like if I come, you'll come too. I dreamt that life is a place we run to. And I don't love, no, I don't love you. I never will, this was never real. So if you don't talk to me again, I won't reveal anything I might actually feel. I might actually feel, actually chill. Hold on to the shadows that you actually steal. If I don't know you an explanation. Hold her until it's over, the vacation is vacant. Truth is, all you know is replacement. The stars shine through this empty spaces. A reminder that all we do is baseless. A divider that all we love turns faceless. It's wasted on our simplest thoughts. If the mass rise again, we might all be forgotten. We live our lives to the tightest of knots, rely on the Almighty to stop our needs. We breathe to succeed ourselves. We don't want someone else, we need someone else. We walk around like the demons among us and shake off the demons that don't want us. And I can feel it crawl back in my head again, the feeling. I ain't calling you today. Nobody's home, nobody's home. I won't even pick up the phone. Nobody's home, nobody's home. There's more that I want you to know, but I'm all the way here in Tokyo. Oh, Tokyo. And I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong. And I don't know what's wrong. But I feel like calling you. I feel like calling you. I feel like calling you 'cause I'm drunk. 'Cause I'm drunk, I'm drunk. I ain't calling you today. Nobody's home, nobody's home. I won't even pick up the phone. Nobody's home, nobody's home. There's more that I want you to know, but I'm all the way here in Tokyo. Oh, Tokyo. I ain't calling you today. Nobody's home, nobody's home. I won't even pick up the phone. Nobody's home, nobody's home. There's more that I want you to know, but I'm all the way here in Tokyo. Oh, Tokyo.